Jada Montemarano. She's standing by at UCLA. What's the scene looking like there, Jada?
Hello, yes, we are at the command post now, and I'm joined with Brandon Silverman from LAFD, who's going to give us some more information right now on everything we've been talking about with these fires. So we have been standing over here and seeing the plumes of smoke kind of dissipate. Does that mean the firefight is getting a little bit easier, or is it getting more controlled, do we think?
Right, well, the crews on the ground and from the air have been making some progress on this fire. That is the good news. The wind has been a little bit more favorable than it was in the beginning. We're starting to get that onshore influence, so instead of those Santa Anas that were pushing this fire from the east to the west, we're now starting to get a little more stable air over there where it's not blowing those embers ahead of the flaming fire fronts. So these firefighters are making some progress and doing their best to defend all structures in its path.
And where we're standing right now, it doesn't smell like smoke. There's no smoke in the air. The skies are clear, but that's not the same for every single area. So people should still be diligent. I know that in Santa Monica, there was ash in the air, probably spread by the wind.
Definitely. If you're in an area that's being impacted by that ash and that smoke, I would definitely stay indoors if you can. Keep your windows and doors shut. If you're in a vehicle, you can use your air conditioning, but definitely put it on that circulating, setting so that you're not pulling in that outside air. And especially if you have any kind of respiratory issues, you would definitely want to avoid being outside and any physical activity outside if you can.
And we were speaking a lot about the road closures, the 405 major thoroughfare connecting the north and the south. And we know you guys were trying to leave it open as long as you possibly could. And we do have a small closure on the southbound. What prompted you guys to say, hey, we just have to close this part?
Right. Basically, it just comes down to how much personnel and apparatus that we have working in that area. We have to be able to do that safely for us and any motorists. We realize the 405 is a major artery for the Los Angeles area, but we will open that up as soon as possible, of course. But at this time, there's just so much work going on there. We're utilizing a lot of those lanes for firefighting efforts.
And I know we haven't had an official cause right now of this fire. We did hear some reports that maybe it was an electrical wire. Someone was saying that. Do we have any other updates right now at this time, or is it still just investigation?
Right. I don't have any further details to comment on that, but there's a lot of different causes, obviously, that these brush fires occur due to the winds. It could be electrical lines. It could be all kinds of things. But we do want to make sure that people are aware that don't pull off the side of the road. You know, you have your hot exhaust under your vehicle that even if you just pull over onto a brush area, that hot catalytic converter part of your exhaust system, that's a common cause of brush fires. And also, of course, any kind of open flame. Don't want to have open flame in any brush area, especially during these severe wind conditions. And if you are using any kind of a barbecue or appliance, make sure you put that out completely before you leave it unattended.
And we do have an anchor question from back in studio.
Hey, Jada, can you ask this firefighter, if I know he's in the thick of it, but do we have any understanding of how much of this blaze has been contained, or does he get a sense that you're knocking this thing down?
So we spoke a little bit earlier how you think that the firefighters are on the ground controlling this a little more. Do we have any containment numbers at this time? Do we know any updates there?
Right. At this point, we don't have any estimation on containment. I know they are working very hard, but this is really steep, rugged terrain, so they have to actually get in there with hand tools, bulldozers where we can, and cut that physical line around the fire. But that's just a perimeter line around the fire, and there's nothing to keep embers from blowing across that. If you can picture paving an entire 101 freeway around the entire fire footprint and having 100% containment, that still doesn't mean with some significant winds it wouldn't blow right across that perimeter line. What they're doing right now is just focusing on putting those hot spots out, and at this point the acreage estimate is over 500 acres.
And we were speaking earlier during the press conference that this will be a fire that will be worked on for the next few days. So what do you see after today, that firefight looking like?
Well, it's going to be several